Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And plot twist, Gen Z does not want sex in sexual situations and relationships in their animation and cartoons.
Well, in their TV in general, because they seem like they prefer animation overall.
Yeah, so this is kind of wild because this is the opposite of where things have been going, right? Because we've been talking about all these cartoons that have overt shipping and overt LGBTQ plus IA representation, and they're saying, yeah, Gen Z loves cartoons. They do, but they don't want relationships and sex and stuff in those.
They said they don't like relationships as like friend based, but they don't want to see go beyond that, too far beyond that. Yeah.
Friend zoning. They want.
Mm-hmm. Or just like, you're in a relationship with somebody, but you're like, the boyfriend, girlfriend aspect that you're friends, not so much the, you're making out and whipping it out.
Yeah, there's been a lot of really overtly sexual content in cartoons the last couple of years. So it must have been a millennial thing because over at the Mary Sue,
she's all pissed about it.
Which is run by a bunch of millennials. Gen Z continues to miss the point of sex scenes in media. So we're gonna talk about.
They're not missing the point. They just don't want to see it.
They don't want to see it, right? So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So the original article came from Variety. It said Gen Z wants more animation and less sex on screen, according to Teens and Screens survey. Please stop going to Grom, Prom, Glom, whatever the hell it's called. Stop making out.
Well, they don't care about making out. It's just like they don't want to see like sexual situations. So there's only first of all, it's UCLA's Center for Scholars and Storytelling. So there's that, and they only actually surveyed 1,500 Americans between the ages of 10 and 24. You're asking 10-year-olds?
It's a little weird. It's a little weird to be like, hey kids, do you like to watch people do it in
I'm
media
sure that's not what they
and,
asked, but I'm like, they said they asked them about their consumption habits and preferences. And they said the sample size was purportedly reflective of the United States Gen Z population in terms of racial, ethnic, gender, sexual ability, economic, and geographic diversity, so I'm assuming they asked people all over the place and not just, UCLA.
California,
area.
yeah. That's wild though, because this is very different. This is actually gonna, I'm telling you, this is gonna put the kibosh on these Tumblr fanfics, because now executives are gonna be like, well, you heard it, they don't want sex in their cartoons. They want cartoons but no sex in it, so we're not gonna do it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, here's funny to me, because I think a lot of shows didn't do that great because they kept like, well, we're gonna ship it and put all this other culture in it that people rejected as it seems, unless you're a millennial, and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever. No offense to millennials who aren't like that, but so now my question is, they're not doing as much animation now. I think a lot of it's because of expense, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
A lot of it's because people just didn't watch it because of whatever situations, or because it was really, stereotypical or whatever. So are they going to look at this and think we need to make more animation and make it more geared to kids? Or are they just still not going to give a shit?
I don't know. Meanwhile, in Japan.
Yes. Oh yeah, they eat that stuff up, and when the anime comes over here, these kids are watching that.
And they're big titties and the whole thing. Yeah,
yeah, but a lot of times they aren't like, they have innuendos, but I don't think they do the whole like shipping thing like they do over here. Like I see anime, and you might have a character that has like large jugs, depending on the show.
They're just friends.
But I'm just saying, a
jugs.
lot of times they are like friend zoned, but. And you do have some situations, but for the majority of shows that the kids are watching, it's really not that. You know what I mean? Like here, it's like we have to have representation of every single type of person we could think of, and we have to ship them all together to show kids that, A can go with C and B can go with X, and all, stuff like that.
That's my ship. Bex.
Bex.
Yeah. So it said, Gen Z shows a distinct preference for animation. The percentage of adolescents who prefer animated content over live action rose from 42% last year to 48.5% this year. And it wasn't just younger teens. Nearly 48% of respondents from 19 to 24 also preferred animation.
Okay, I want to point out something too. When they did this study, K-pop Demon Hunters was like starting to pick up like mad, and it was around the time they were going to release it at the theaters for the sing along and all that.
Yeah.
So I think when people are talking about animation and stuff, they're thinking about those kind of things. They're doing another Mitchell versus the Machines, those things that they might see on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, I and that seems to be the stuff that's picking up traction. Like I'm not seeing. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with younger kids. I'm not seeing the shipping like we did with millennials, right? So there's definitely kind of a change there, because it seems like as well, I guess they were technically Gen Z, but as a lot of the like the She-Ra stands and the Owl House stands, all those people kind of grew up, I guess, or at least, kind of lost interest in the cartoons. I mean, this is anecdotal, but it feels like a lot of the shippers have moved on, right? Like that was like 5 years ago, and now you're not seeing it like you did before. And the stuff that the kids are into now doesn't seem to be as contingent on relationships. Like even Demon Slayer and its brother and a sister are not.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that they are against like relationships. They're just against putting like sexual situations in these things, because like K-pop Demon Hunters, they ran at the theater and the kids were all, the girls were all chanting kiss, 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 kiss. But there's a difference between that and being like, another word,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. They said 54% said they wanted to see portrayals of characters who aren't interested in romantic relationships. 54% wanted to see more different gender friendships on screen, and 49%
friendships, not
friendships.
Because you're allowed to be friends with somebody. It doesn't automatically mean you want to sleep with them.
49% said they wanted to see more same gender friendships. That I'm thinking of you, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. They in the original series, animated series, they were not together, but because we have two women that are friends, they've got to be lesbians. Always, that's always what happens. They got to be gay. They got to be always.
Yes.
Because shippers. With those on-screen friendships, respondents also showed a desire to see healthy conflict resolution. Furthering these wholesome desires, romance ranked third to last on a list of topics youths wanted to see explored on screen. Interesting. And 60% said they wanted to see romantic relationships depicted as more about the friendship between the couple than the sex.
Yes, exactly.
What?
That's what I said. I mentioned that earlier. Yeah.
They said that there is too much sex and sexual content in TV and movies. Toxic relationships and love triangles also ranked among the most tiresome or uninteresting tropes for young viewers.
Gen Z's based. Then Alpha will be included here too, I guess.
Yeah, so this is really interesting, because this is the opposite of what has been peddled to kids and teens for the last 10, 20 years. It's all,
well, they're rebelling against the stupidity. Hallelujah. Sorry.
It is weird, because like when we were teens, it was 90210, and it was like, oh my God, everybody's having sex at 12 or whatever. It's like, even though they're played by a 35-year-old actor playing a 12-year-old, 14-year-old, whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of those shows, Dawson's Creek and all that, like in the 90s and 2000s, like every teen show was about teens getting it on. That was like the whole, like, you want to do a teen show? Got to get it on.
Well, that's what they're bringing up. They're bringing up these different scandals around the movies over the years, Where the Boys Are, and then Porky's, and then American Pie, and Superbad. They all had their quintessential generation. I'm like, you know what? I didn't watch Superbad. Didn't really care about American Pie. I thought it was weird. Porky's, it was always, there was always the edited version on TV where you couldn't see anything anyway. And Where the Boys Are was pretty much really tame, but not at the time.
What was weird, though, is like the CW, they sexualized Archie. I thought that was very weird.
It was.
Because, I mean, honestly, if you'd just done like straight up Archie, I think it actually would have gone okay, or at least if they would try that today, because I'm thinking it's like Saved by the Bell,
they
something
did
like that.
Nancy Drew too.
Yeah, they sexualized Nancy Drew. They said Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so they sexualized all these characters. But then it turned out that with the CW, those shows like Archie and stuff like that, it turned out it was mostly old people watching the shows. They were supposed to be for teens, but it was older women watching these shows. So it's like 60, 70-year-old women watching Archie take his shirt off.
That's so funny. I'm sorry.
And everybody and this is a very millennial thing too, because they're all obsessed.
Grandma.
Yeah, right. It's the older ladies that read the dirty books too, but that's a whole nother thing.
My grandma had quite the
I wasn't going to
collection.
mention it, but yeah, if you want to, you can.
No, it's true.
Yeah. So how you know a book is dirty? I've learned this. Go about 3/4 of the way into the book, open up a page. If there's sex on it, that's a dirty book. That's, it's always 3/4 of the way into the story. Anyway.
I'm sorry, is that a joke? I'm not going to make it.
3/4 of the way in. Yes. But like millennials, like millennial media especially they were just completely obsessed with the gender identity of cartoon characters, fictional characters.
And, who they're sleeping with.
Who they're sleeping with. They were extending that to the actual actors and actresses. They were asking them uncomfortable questions, including, they're mentioning Stranger Things. The kid that plays Will, they're putting him on the spot when he was like 12, 13 years old. They're like, hey, what's your gender identity? What are you, gay or straight or what? And it's like, he's like 12.
I think he says he's gay now. I wonder where he got the idea. Anyway.
But it's just why are you making this kid answer this question? It's very weird.
Now, in contradiction to this, you have the Mary Sue, which is like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, Gen
You're
Z.
missing the point. No,
you're missing the point of sex. Here we go.
The point. You just want to see more stuff in your things because you're pervy.
You want to see it go 3/4 of the way in.
That's right.
Here we go again. It's the day that ends in Y, and the internet once again has feelings about sex scenes.
Honestly, it's not a day that ends in Y with this. It's not talked about all that much,
Not really.
You're really, I think you're projecting there, sweetie.
In your circles, maybe. According to the report, 48% said there is too much sex and sexual content. Okay.
These are kids.
Oh my God. As is the case every single time we've written about it, and we'll surely continue to write about the topic.
I'm sure you will.
Until they get shut down. The situation is complicated. For one thing, there's surely more nuance to the feelings of teens and young adults across the country than the sample size of UCLA's study.
Okay, normally, if this sample size was, saying, oh, we want to see more of this, we want to see, more, representation and all this stuff, we want to see everybody having sex everywhere, all over the place, they'd be like, that's right, get it, you're right. And now they're like, that's not a very good representative, sample size. It's probably not representative of what we want to hear, is basically what it is. And it's like, look, these are children, okay? There's older people in among there, but a lot of them are kids.
Well, okay, so they're like, even then, I don't entirely fault Gen Z and Gen Alpha for having the opinion. It says, arguably a rite of passage to feel uncomfortable about sex scenes at some point in your adolescence.
I'm an adult and I've seen some of these sex scenes and I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, that opinion can be fueled by how sexual autonomy is or isn't being taught to you as a young adult.
Fuck off.
Is that going to be like, we need more explicit books in school libraries?
Yeah, basically, but we need more explicit content for kids so they can be taught about this. They need to see this thing. No. Tell me you don't have kids. Don't tell me you don't have kids. Like,
Having grown up during the height of the 16 and pregnant era and being taught sex ed in the state of Texas, I can understand how difficult that dichotomy can be, especially once you fold in the current state of the world and battles around reproductive health.
Oh, get bent. I guarantee this person probably does not have children. It's possible they do, but they probably don't. I'm also betting they're millennial.
It's anti-art to remove sex scenes from art. If it has significance, if it's just...
Yeah, as I said, does it have a purpose of being there?
Or is it like a slasher flick where it's like, oh, we have a sex scene just because we want teens to come to get the R rating and they got to die? So.
Well, I was just thinking about, Florence Pugh's boobs in Oppenheimer. There was like really no reason to have them in there.
Somebody's got to clip that. I was just thinking about Florence Pugh's.
I'm just saying, there was no reason for it to be there.
No, I was, and our son still
He's
awkwardly
so
talks about it. I did not know Florence Pugh's. I almost said pew.
He calls them the oppen titties.
I didn't know the oppen titties were gonna be in the middle of a drama about a nerd who makes science stuff. This is the last thing I expected to see were oppen titties, and it's just like right in the middle of the movie, just like, yeah. By the way, oh my God, that gives me an idea. Got to write that down. Yeah, I was very surprised by the oppen titties. I did not know. But there we go. So he was surprised. I was surprised. But I'm like, you're probably on TikTok. And
He's more scarred by the way. You were just like, oh no.
So I went to go see this movie with my dad, and he's like, oh boy, there's boobies. Don't tell your mother.
No, wait, is that what you said?
No,
that's not what
I don't even remember what I said. The fact that he remembers, I was just like, whoa.
He was like, you're very uncomfortable.
But you want to talk about awkward? You go see a movie with your dad. You go see a movie with your dad, and then there's like, oh, titties in a science movie. Like,
okay, sorry, I'm sorry. Back to this real quick. I'm just reading this next paragraph. Okay, this sums up everything. I'll use my favorite piece of television from this year. The Peacemaker orgy. This person's favorite fucking piece of television this year.
That's literal, yes.
Was the orgy from Peacemaker. And then they're talking about how kids should have to look at this. I'm sorry, as a parent, I don't want my kids watching the orgy in Peacemaker. Hell, I'm not even watching it because I don't think I feel comfortable with it either.
Yeah.
It's not art. It was completely unnecessary. It was like for shock value.
So was this just about we're going to talk about sex, Gen Z, and Peacemaker?
Because this person wants to talk about it because they like it. Who is this person?
I don't know. It's not Rachel Leishman. Jenna Anderson.
Jenna Anderson.
Yeah, Jenna Anderson. So
keep in your pants, Jenna.
But they said kids are finding community through gaming. They like animation. They don't want to see characters having sex all the time. And modern cartoons most affected. This is coming from Crack. They're like, Gen Z is a generation of perma children who only want kids TV programming.
Well, I would argue with that because Gen X also really likes cartoons and, they like toys and a lot of us still collect toys. So that's not, what are you saying here? They also said in a lot of these things that they're mostly watching shows on TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah. They're not reading your blog, Cracked. And Cracked, I remember when Cracked used to actually be Cracked Magazine. And it used to be a funny humor magazine paper sold in grocery stores before Walmart.
Yes, I remember it too.
Yeah. But they're like, before fans of animation start sending me death threats, that's actually not the stat that indicates to me that Gen Z is seeking out content that will extend their childhood in perpetuity. I will point out their favorite shows are SpongeBob, Family Guy, Naruto, and K-pop Demon Hunters.
Told you they interviewed him during the time the K-pop Demon Hunters was like everywhere.
It's the following statistic about content preferences related to sex on screen that really reinforces the idea that the younger generation is shying away from mature topics. 60% want to see more romantic relationships that are more about friendship. Well, that's probably why K-drama is kind of taken off too.
Here's the thing too, though. You have to understand, what they're not understanding also is the fact that a lot of these younger people, they're growing up at a time that's completely different than when you grew up. Okay, they're mostly connecting online. Via like playing games and stuff like that, chats and things, fan groups or whatever. They're mostly there. When you have college kids they're in-person classes and they will not even speak to each other.
Yeah.
But they're on their phone posting on Snapchat and interacting with people like they won't stop talking there. There is some definite weirdness. So if you're talking about people who want to spend more time, connecting with what they love, and they also, feel they want to see more, stories about friendships, be it same-sex friendships, different sex friendships, boyfriend-girlfriend friendships. It's probably because they're desperate for, and they feel like they lack that connection. And it could be that. It could be has nothing to do with you because you just grew up in a different time and you're trying to compare apples to oranges.
Well, speaking of a different time, right? So this is this the guy that wrote the article, Cal? Is that, I don't know. This is a different guy. Okay. Anyway, it says a thing that doesn't come up enough in the unnecessary sex scenes discourse is that sex scenes should only be used to advance the plot. That's literally in the Hays Code. Why are you, a 21-year-old on TikTok, espousing the beliefs of a conservative evangelist bigot from the 1800s? Not to be the friend that's too woke, they said, but this attitude, much like the millennial obsession with nostalgia, allows fascism to flourish.
Wait. So you don't want to see sex on TV is allowing fascism to flourish?
Holy shit. Oh, well, hold on. Being afraid of art that shows nudity, sex, and horniness isn't a stance against sexual abuse or exploitation. It's a stance against artistic expression and against personal liberation. I sympathize with Gen Z, a generation that's been endlessly warned about all the ways they can be taken advantage of Me Too monsters and Epstein Island, but are probably not getting very good sex ed from their helicopter parents or muzzled educators.
Oh, for fuck's sake, bullshit. But no generation I can think of has as many pervy damn ass books in the libraries as you guys have been librarians and pushing on these kids.
Oh,
don't you give me this. This is the most perverted. Adults, grown-ass adults are mad because kids don't want to see sex. What does that tell you?
Wow. Okay.
That's a little concerning.
Yeah, right. So the same way that millennial obsession with the 90s opened the door for Make America Great Again. Oh my God. When you're constantly yearning for the past, you may not be too particular about what makes return. Gen Z's stunted views on intimacy coincide with widespread conservative attitudes. My suggestion, every 18-year-old should be forced to watch Eyes Wide Shut.
No, so basically, these people are ass mad because they're going more conservative and they're mad about it.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to force sex on children.
Yes.
Which they've been doing, but they're taking a new tactic now. Before they were just overtly doing it with all the cartoons and all the books in the library. Now they're trying to take a different tactic where they're trying to do like reverse psychology, where if you don't want to see it, it's because you're conservative. It's like you are a grown up, I'm assuming. Is that a woman again or is this a guy?
That's it could go either way. Who the hell knows? I think it's a guy. The infantilization and nostalgia bum rush are also convenient lubricants for fascism.
So they're literally saying kids don't want to see sex on TV, or sex in their shows.
Yeah.
It's because it's fascism. This is grown fucking ass adults are mad that children, and some of them are adults, don't want to see the same things they want to see. And they're trying to tie it to like, well, you watch it if you weren't a fascist.
You're going to bring conservatism back.
This is where we've come to. They're so desperate for kids to watch porn and take part in porn that they're trying to do you're a fascist if you don't want to do it. I shit you not.
These blogs can't die fast enough. I'm just being honest. Between this and the Mary Sue and all the other fucking, yeah, that's there are bad takes, and then there's just some really bad takes. Before, I remember just a couple of years ago, it was like, we shouldn't sexualize women. Now it's like, no, everybody at 18 needs to be forced to watch porn.
That's what they're saying.
To get over it, so you're not watching your SpongeBob.
Yeah, because they're mad. I'm like, I'm millennials for nostalgia, and then somehow that became that Make America Great Again. Where are you getting information? It just sounds like you're just pulling turds out your ass and then saying, oh yeah, that's what this means.
I don't know. I thought maybe this is Cracked. I thought maybe it was parody, but I think Cracked now is actually just another one of these millennial rags. They're I can't believe that we've reached a place where we're calling. And this is it's supposed to be a good thing, right? Like your kids aren't hypersexualized and people get into relationships when they're ready to get into relationships, and you're like, oh no, that's fascism.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
what?
And
my body, my choice. Oh, it's fascism.
Nostalgia is why we have Make America Great Again.
I'm like, because you yearn for the 90s, so that's how you got Trump. I'm like, just God.
How does that even make sense?
It doesn't make sense.
Is this a real person? Are you on crack? I'm trying to figure all this out because this person, this is insane. I'm sorry, as a parent, feeling.
Oh, of course they like Mamdani, so yeah.
It's like you're full of shit, and you need to, sit and spin.
Jimmy Fallon, an activist, and then let's see, Internet Theory of Late Night's Decline is the strongest one yet. Daily Show has finally found an audience other than boomer resistance libs. Joe Rogan commiserate on hosting Trump on their podcast. Blah blah politics. Blah 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 blah. SNL takes aim at the loser podcasts who bring Trump on. Oh my God.
Well, when they think that kids not wanting to see sex in TVs and cartoons and stuff, they're fascists. What do you expect? You want to know how politically pickled and how batshit these idiots are? This person is a poster child for batshittery.
Yeah, this is insane.
Are we done with this? I can't.
That's the worst. That's the worst take I think I've seen this week. To be like, those kids need to be sexier. That's the
because
problem.
they're fascist.
Because they're fascist.
Well, this is how Cheryl Hines gets roasted over her support. No, she kind of kicked their ass. But
oh yeah, she totally.
This person is so so up their own ass, they're up their own crack, that the gas has got to them. That's all I gotta say. Can we wrap this up?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm
Kids,
done.
if you don't want to watch that stuff, you don't have to. Hell, as an adult, I don't want to see it half the time. You don't have to, and there's nothing wrong with it. You're not a fascist if you don't want to see it. You probably want to see more friendships depicted. That's completely understandable and fair.
Because
just
friendship
go watch
is
what
magic.
you want to watch. Yes, that's right. Watch what you want to watch, and these bitter bitches can get bent. Bitches, and it's a gender neutral term, so.
All right.
Spin.
They would like that. They would like.
Yeah, they want to see more of that.
They want to see more of that, especially in cartoons. We're gonna wrap it up. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Okay. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.